So, okay, let me get into this, y'all. I remember it. And thank you. Thank you again for allowing me to do your reading today. I really appreciate that. So we've already gone through all of the major arcana. We've gone through cups and we've done wands. So now we are in the suit of swords. And anytime we're talking about swords, we're speaking on things that deals with our intellect. We are talking about our mental, our mind. We are also talking about scholarly type things like going to school or learning a new trade. And we are specifically talking about the air element itself, okay? If we are speaking on zodiac, thank you. If we're speaking on zodiac signs, we are talking about the air signs, okay? So Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, those are the air signs. Oftentimes people like to link astrology with tarot, which definitely goes hand in hand for sure. So if you pull cards and maybe you're curious about the sign of someone or when something is going to happen, anytime you see swords, think air signs, okay? So again, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, okay? The seasons that are associated with the sword suit is fall, okay? So it's not as quick acting as wands would represent days, as we discussed prior. Cups usually deals with the summer. So summer is usually like weeks. And then your fall element here is deals with months typically. It's a little bit of a slower energy, okay? So when we get into the Ace of Swords, okay? So what you have here, something that I learned recently was paying attention to how things are being presented in the cards, okay? So if we consider things that come from the left side resonates with our feminine energy. And I'm not tying that specifically to a gender. I'm talking about receptive, intuitive, feminine energy, okay? So anything that comes from that left, I don't know if it's mirrored for y'all, but this hand is being presented from the left side and is coming into our right, okay? So when I see that, it triggers me to think that these are things that come from the spirit realm or come from the ether, and it's things that we push through, just like with our throat chakra, which is also very important here, and our heart chakra, and bring it into this masculine secular environment that we are living in this realm, in this human experience, okay? So this sword is something that we have used and manufactured, just like with the suit of wands, cups, and pentacles, to help us understand what that element is all about. Think about how you can cut tension with a knife. Think about how you swipe the knife through the air and you can hear the effects of it. Anytime we think of the air element and understanding what that means to us, this is the suit to discuss, okay, for the suit of swords. So what you have here is this hand that has what either looks like, I've seen it referred to as like what the flames that come off the tree of knowledge or the tree of life that's in the Lovers card. And you also see these sparks in the tower. These can be considered like sparks, like when you're like crafting something or welding something, the sparks that come off of it. The number 6 may also be significant with it because there's 6 of those flames that are coming off here as well. You have an overall gray theme with this energy too. Gray is typically an overcast type energy, like overcast, like you don't really see the whole clarity of the situation. The clouds are covering the full sky that we would normally see, okay? And I know that there's a bit of a glare on this. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I don't know where my other deck is. So we have this sword that's being presented and you have this crown that is up here as well. Anytime we're talking about the suit of swords, we're talking about 2 things specifically that comes into mind, okay? Not only are we talking about the mind and intellect and learning and scholarship, we're not just talking about that. We're also talking about the martyr aspect of the suit of swords. So someone who is a warrior, someone who seeks justice, someone who is even can be philanthropic in some ways, that seeks out that type of militant personality about somebody, okay? And specifically with the Ace of Swords, we're talking about the potential of this energy, not mastering it. We are just beginning this journey of the suit of swords. So again, anytime you see an ace, the first thing you should think about is potential, Okay. So maybe starting a new program where you learn something, starting a new thing in school. Maybe someone who's thinking about joining the military, or a position in a political office even could be some potential energies associated with the Suit of Swords as well, especially with the Ace of Swords. Down at the bottom, you'll also notice that there's some mountains down here as well. And if you remember how I refer to the mountains in tarot, that's always symbolic of some sort of challenges that are coming up. And how close or how far away those mountains are can speak to the proximity of said challenges. And if you're familiar with the Suit of Swords, you know that there's some rocky roads ahead when we go through it, especially when we see things like the Three of Swords or even the Ten of Swords, okay? So this is a great energy, a great potential, a great spark at something that is excellent as well, okay? Yes, Muma Bear. Yeah, people who have this energy often do have a bit of a sharp tongue, and you'll see exactly which sign I'm referring to with that whenever we go into the court cards. Okay. So that's a nice introduction into the Suit of Swords. If y'all have any questions about that particularly, I'm going to take a minute to get something to drink really quick and just drop your questions. And then if y'all don't have any, just drop some emojis and we will go into the Two of Swords. Okay. So remember, Ace of Swords is the potential of these energies, starting something, starting up something, learning a new trade, learning something new, anything that deals with the mind space. Okay. Check these. I know a couple people comment, hey, Jade, hey, beautiful. You're not late at all. You're not late at all. Oh yeah, last week was weird. Last week I was like super like flu-like symptoms, but I know it was like some energetic upgrades happening and I needed to sit down somewhere for it. So yeah, I feel so much better now, for sure. All right, if y'all are good, I'm gonna go into the Two of Swords. Now, the thing that I really like about the Suit of Swords is that we are not just talking about the air element. There's also this element of intuition and even heart matters that come up with the Suit of Swords. It's probably, I would argue, the most integrative suit that I'll see in the minor arcana, where all of the different elements are taking place. Okay. So what we are looking at here with the Two of Swords, remember we started with this potential energy, this startup energy, right? And now we're looking like we're being faced with some choices that we have to make. Okay. So this person that's here dressed in white, this person has some good intentions. Anytime I see them dressed in white, they have a very pure, clean energy about them. They're not coming with any kind of ill intention. Okay. So they're draped in white. She's sitting on this, what looks like maybe a park bench, could be. It looks like a temporary place to sit, which also plays into this suit. It means that you don't stay here. This is not that type of energy that has a huge throne like Sir here. This is not a place of mastery yet. This is a temporary place for you to take a minute and think. Okay. So with that, she's sitting here and she has her arms crossed, and notice how they are crossed. Okay. They're crossed over her heart space. They're crossed over her heart. She is blocking her emotions out from making this decision and for her actual sight. She wants to think this thing through. Okay. And these are two equally beneficial / equally detrimental decisions. Okay. Both sides have their pros and cons. It's not an easy decision for this person to make, okay? You'll notice here in the background also, there's some shallow waters. You'll see the rocks protruding from the water that's back here as well. And this moon that we have here, this moon isn't really full, right? If it was full, we'll probably have full water because the full moons bring in full tides, high tides, right? And that water element connects to our intuition, our connection with spirit. Water is a portal, okay? And this background speaks to how she's feeling right now. So you can see based on the other cards in your spread, it can be a call for you to tap into your mental to make the decision that's best for you. to actually see it through and look at the pros and cons outside of what you feel like it could possibly be, is asking you to tap into your brain power to find the decision that works for you. Okay? Your intuition has a little bit to do with it, but especially when we're talking about the Suit of Swords, this is all in your mind. This is like making a list and giving out pros and cons about both situations and seeing which one is going to have the best common sense outcome for what is to come for you. Okay? So the moon, this crescent moon, is not completely full. However, that moon is a little bit of a symbol to tap into your feminine energy and your intuition. Just a little bit, but it's not at the forefront. It's like, let it guide you, but also at the same time, let's plan this thing out. Because either way I go, if I choose frick or frack, both have equally beneficial / equally detrimental things about them, if that makes sense. These swords are big. These swords she can't hold on to for too long. They're giant. They're not 2 kitchen knives she's holding up across her heart space. They're pretty large in comparison to her. But again, remember, this is a temporary place. It's not somewhere to be for long. You will ultimately have to make a decision. Okay? And that's the 2 of Swords. Are there any other questions? Everything can be hard, and we do have to make a choice. Things can be difficult. Like stalemate almost, or maybe stuck between 2 different decisions that you have to make. Spirit is calling for you to use your common sense with it. Okay? Good on the 2 of Swords? All right. Yeah, it can be. Very heavy. Absolutely. Now, the card people hate to see. The one that everybody feels like, oh God, here we go. Right? The choice can be about money depending on the other cards that are in your spread, especially if there's a lot of pentacles around in that spread also, or if your intention with the reading that you said or the question that you asked has to deal with money, then absolutely. Okay, great question. So let's get into, all right, we're here. We left from this energy of being in this position of stagnancy even, or stalemate, or having to choose between 2 equally beneficial or detrimental decisions that we have to make. Now we're here. Okay. So with this 3 of Swords, very clear that it doesn't feel like one of the greatest cards to receive in a reading, especially a love reading. Okay. I'm going to give you a different way or a different perspective to look at this energy. So again, you have this overall gray theme, and then you have these clouds and there's some rain going. Very sharp rain. Looks like it's going pretty fast. Not pleasant drips. It's like a storm of sorts. And then you have this heart. And I really want you to pay attention to the condition of this heart. Okay? This heart is not torn apart. It's not bleeding. It's not gray or dull as if there's no life in it left. It's still pretty much intact, right? But we have these 3 swords that are pierced inside of it. So remember, in the Suit of Swords, we're talking about mind, intellect, scholarship, even the militant side or the diplomatic side of ourselves, right? There's a bit of a union that is taking place with the 3 of Swords. But it's not a comfortable one. Otherwise, there would be bright, shiny sky behind us, the sun shining and everything else. No, this is quite difficult. It's quite difficult. It can be difficult for us to sync our mind with our heart. They're both very much important. And especially when we're talking about swords, people who are sword heavy sometimes can spend so much time up here that there is no heart connection with it. So with this, even though these swords are piercing through the heart and it may be a very grief-stricken moment for you, it may be something that you care a lot about, and even to the extent of having to shake the way that you believed things to be at one point in your life before, how things used to be, and seeing something different. That whole grief process of grieving what used to be can also be significant with the Three of Swords. Okay? So again, very much, I'm not taking away from the fact that this is a card that does absolutely represent grief or heartbreak to some extent. But if you look closely at the imagery with this card, this heart is not broken. I would even say it adjusted. Thank you. I would even say it adjusted to having these swords here. That's the beauty in it. Okay? So if you receive this card in a reading, or any card that is inherently like what we would view as negative, the brightness and the bright side of it is knowing that you're not completely broken. It's just a moment of grief and grieving how things used to be, and also a call for you to expand your mental, to learn, to grow more, so that these two can be in union with one another. Because it all matters, right? We are holistic people. Spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, all of it plays in sync with one another. And this card is a reminder that both have to be in sync in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So I hope that makes you all feel a little better about the Three of Swords. Any questions about this energy? So yeah, definitely like in relationships and stuff, of course, this is like heartbreak because you thought, right? You thought something was going to go one way and it went somewhere else. All right. So we are going to move on. And again, if y'all have questions, please ask. And if you feel like you're not comfortable asking them here, please ask them in DM or wherever. It doesn't matter. I'm more than glad to help. Okay. So we are going on over to the Four of Swords. I also love this card because there's a few different perspectives we can see with this as well. So we just got through this stage where we're experiencing a little bit of grief, maybe even some heartache around something that we thought once was and is no longer, where spirit is really shaping our mind and our patterns, our belief systems into something that will better suit us. Okay. Now spirit's like, okay, now sit down somewhere and meditate and rest and gather yourself and really focus on what it is that you actually want for yourself, and what behaviors, what thought patterns, what mental needs to change in order to see it happen. That's where you are here. Okay. I also want you to know the positioning of these three swords and look at where they're pointing. One looks like it's right at his third eye. One looks like it may be at his throat or his heart. And then one looks like it's down lower at his solar plexus if we're talking about chakras and energy centers, right? Quite peculiar. But then you also have this sword under here, whether he knows it or not. It's almost like a sense of protection under him, whether he knows it's there or not. Swords are defense weapons, okay? But these swords at these places, I don't feel like that's a coincidence at all. So it's pointing specifically to those energy centers to get us to actually really understand what this sword energy is telling us. Remember, swords are that mind and intellect, and that connects from the heart up, right? That third eye, that throat chakra, that heart energy center with that air energy in it for sure, and our own confidence, our own willpower to see things through with that solar plexus energy. You also have this, what do you call this? A mosaic or something like that, like in the church windows, the stained glass windows. And it looks like a family. It looks like maybe a mother or maybe his partner and a child that's like in the windows looking down, and it's like, okay, take your time, do what you need to do. You could even see this as your ancestors giving you the okay to say that it is all right for you to take a minute for yourself and to gather yourself and know what it is that you want to see for yourself in the future. But this is a card about pausing and reflecting, mostly from up here, mostly from your mental. Okay? I'm trying to see if there's anything else with this card. Oftentimes when I look at these cards, overall energies I get are based on the colors that I see. The most dominant color, that yellow energy, that solar plexus, that confidence, that willpower, even risk taking to some extent. And being confident in it. And that's pretty much the Four of Swords. Okay? All right. If we don't have any questions, drop some emojis so TikTok don't think I'm just sitting here and you know what I'm saying? I was thinking it meant messages while you slept. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tuning into your dreams even, but seeing the common sense of it. You know what I mean? So focusing less on not completely not focusing, but focusing less on the intuitive aspects of it and on the common sense of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jewel, I get it. This deck is the Mahogany Tarot deck. And she has a page on here as well. And I think she still has some on Etsy. Yep. But I get it for sure. All right. And that is the Four of Swords. Now we are going to move on from this energy of taking a bit of a pause and seeing where our intellect can shift and change to be more expansive towards what we really want to see happen for ourselves. And now we are here. We cannot catch a break. We can't catch a break, but it's okay. It's a part of the journey, right? So what you have here is now the clouds are kind of like clearing, but they're so sharp. They're not like those nice, pretty, fluffy clouds. It's like sharp tongue, sharp, jagged clouds right here, right? And then you have this gentleman that's up here in the front dressed in this green and red. There could very much be a heart and a root or a personal power type energy in this as well. And then you have these two energies here in the back that have pretty much turned their back on this person up at front. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple ways to determine which energy is you or the person that you're reading for at that time. Okay. So in one context, you could say in the upright, you're this person. In reverse, you're these people. Or tap into your intuition and see which one best resonates for you. But that's one way you could see it. I also feel like you're going to know which one is you in these based off of your spread or whatever other cards you end up pulling at that time. You will know. Trust yourself. Okay. So if you are this person, you are someone who feels like somebody owes you something. And in order for you to obtain what it is that's owed, you feel like you have to take from those who you weren't supposed to. This is someone who may feel slighted. It's like, imagine being on a basketball team and your basketball team has this like star player, right? Somebody that everybody loves. But on the defensive side, the side that people who don't know basketball, maybe you're the one scoring all the points. I mean, maybe you're the one that's really catching all the rebounds and, you know, doing the dirty work and not just shooting and getting the love from the shots. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a dynamic like that. Maybe at your job, maybe you feel like the person who's always in the forefront is getting all of the praise while these two back here are the ones that are doing all the work. They're the ones coming in early and leaving late. And nobody sees it because they're busy working. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of dynamic. And because you feel like they're getting more praise than you, or they're making more money than you, or because you feel like they have something that you don't, You want to take it from them. However, these people are like, look, you got it. Because it's not worth fighting about. If that's what you want, it's all yours. And I'm just turn away. And the perspective can just be like, look, I'm going to head out. Or it can be a cause of grief for some people. This person went to the water. That reminds me of the heart space. So whether you're the person who feels like somebody owes you something, or if you're these people who feel like they have taken from you unapologetically, you know what I'm saying? Either way, this is like open to the interpretation of what your spread says. But this energy is very much this person feels like they got to take from somebody else when they don't even know the full story. They don't know how they don't know that you're seeing their chapter 10 when you think it's their chapter 1. And you don't know what the first part of the book is. You don't know what they went through to get what they have. But because they carry it so well, now you think that, you get what I'm saying? Now you think that they owe you. That is this type of energy. Again, the suit of swords, all up here, all up in this mental space. You thinking something looks one way when you don't know the full facts of the whole situation. That's the 5 of swords. Very petty. Not as petty as the 5 of wands, but it is a very petty energy for sure. Okay, I hope I explained that well enough. Are you guys comfortable with the 5 of swords before we move on? I think I'm missing a card. Okay. I don't know where my 6 of wands is. Hold on, y'all. I know I seen it because it came up in somebody's reading I had yesterday. Oh, that was missing too. Here we go. Okay. All right. So we have moved on from this energy of feeling like somebody owes us something and not minding the business that pays you, essentially, to this. Now we have moved on to here. So whenever I see the 6 of swords, this is like moving on and moving forward from a situation. Okay? There's no movement in this. Right? And now we actually have some movement going. We haven't seen any movement so far in the suit of swords up to this point. Everybody is, there's very much a sit and observe or a sit and understand energy and what we have already discussed previously. But now the 6 of swords is telling us it's time to move. Okay? These swords are standing upright in this boat. And I feel like these swords may be keeping this boat afloat in some way. You know what I mean? I felt maybe these swords are plugging holes. Maybe these swords are a defense mechanism. Maybe they have a maybe they're set in a certain way to keep things from hitting you in the face. Maybe that's it, right? But you have what a lot of people consider to be the mother and child type situation being led on somewhere else. They're also very close to land. If you can see the trees here in the background. And it also looks like they're leaving more tumultuous waters or more unsteady waters to more smoother ground, to smoother waters, right? So again, we have that integration of intellect with intuition with these swords and with this water element present. So even though we're talking about the suit of swords, these things are a reminder that your heart still matters. Okay, that your intuition still matters. Your connection with your divine feminine energy still matters. Okay, I always like to see this person here as like maybe an ancestor or a guide that is helping these people go from one place to another. So if you pull this card in a reading, If this is a 1-card spread, maybe this is your time for spirit to tell you to move on to more solid ground, to more steady and stable positioning than where you were previously. And you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with your guides that are helping you go there, that are guiding you to that place of safety for you and your family. I also look at the positioning of her as well. She looks like she's like hunched down, like covering herself almost. Maybe a sense of guilt or shame. Maybe a sense of uncertainty. Maybe she's just cold. I don't know. I look at the positioning. I look at their body language when I look at these cards, and then I allow myself to consider those things whenever I'm looking at a spread, or when I'm doing these things for people, or reading for other people rather. Also in terms of travel, maybe you're thinking about going overseas somewhere. Maybe you'll see this travel by boat somewhere. That could also be significant. But specifically for the meaning of the 6 of Swords, this is moving on to more stable, higher ground of some sort. Okay? And being guided there as well. You're not doing it alone. All right? And that is the 6 of Swords. Again, ask questions if you feel. If not, we're going to move right on. Okay. So, keep you from sinking? Yeah. I feel like that matters. For sure. So now we have literally moved on, and we're here. This is another card that has a couple of different interpretations to it as well. Okay. So one thing that I always hear when I look at this is early bird gets the worm. That's one way to look at it, because we have this overall yellow theme. It's very joyous and bright, and also reminds me of that solar plexus energy, right? Confidence, action, willpower. It resonates, right? Early bird gets the worm. Like, he's gathering all his sticks, and he's turned back, and he's like, I'm gonna make sure I get mine. Again, mental. This whole fight, if I don't get it, if I have to do everything for myself because ain't nobody else gonna do it, and I'm gonna it's like Black Friday. Let me gather all these TVs before anybody else get them. You don't need all them damn TVs. You know what I'm saying? It feels like that, okay? There's also, Jade, I'm glad you bring up that trickster energy. This card may also come up from maybe this energy of someone who feels like they're trying to get one over on you. And kind of lightheartedly about it. Kind of laugh about it even. Okay? And that's my other point. That's another way I'm telling you, this card, and I can think of a few others, have a few different interpretations to them for sure. So trickery and deception are definitely one of them. However, if you get some other supporting cards in your spread, like maybe the, I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you get other cards that don't feel like it's trickery or perception, but it feels like you like gathering what you need for yourself, early bird gets the worm type energy, then go with that. Okay. The Magician. Is that what you're referring to? If so, I feel like the Magician is more understanding your alchemy, understanding as above, so below. I don't really feel a connection to those two in that way. That's interesting though. I'm gonna think about that. But also, so if you look at the back of this card, it looks like a town that had like a circus or something like that. And if you look over here, it looks like a group of people. It looks like a group of some people that are here in the background, if you'll notice them too. Maybe he's like a misfit. Maybe he's someone that just isn't not really a people, like Aladdin. Thank you, Spirit. Is given Aladdin. That is exactly what I feel with 7 of Swords. If you're familiar with the story of Aladdin, very much. And remember, we are also talking about the suit of swords. We're talking about the mind. We're talking about intellect. We're talking about common sense. Okay? And sometimes when we're always up here, sometimes we don't feel that safety and security that our intuition and our more grounded self can feel. And it's like, I have to do this thing because if I don't do it this way, I don't think there's another way that I can be supported around this. Okay? So yeah, depending on your cards and your spread, this could be a very deceptive, trickery energy, or it could be early bird gets the worm type situation, like get your shit together type situation. Okay? You will know. Trust yourself. Okay? Even looking at his face, it's almost like, I got mine. Like this guy. But if you got yours, why you worried about what's behind you? Why you worried? Why you looking back? There ain't nothing for you back there. Very complex energy for sure with the Seven of Swords. Maybe he even pissed these people off. You know what I'm thinking? Now I'm really thinking about this. Like maybe he pissed these people off and now he's just like, I'm just keep on going. But if I could think of anything that directly fits how I feel about this card, this energy, it is definitely Aladdin. Okay. So if you get the Seven of Swords, think of Aladdin. All right. I feel like, dude, like poor thing. He probably has some good intentions or something, but he's just, he's so Aladdin. That could be one thing too. Absolutely. Y'all got it. All right. I'm going to move on from this energy. All right. Hey, Nisi. Hey, my love. So we go from this energy of trickery, deception, mind games with the sword energy of the Seven of Swords. Now we are moving on to here. I get this card a lot. I get this card often. I see her often. All right. So what you have here is this woman who is bound by this white cloth, white tape, white rope, however you want to see it. Also around her eyes, again, just like we saw with the Two of Swords. And she's like, if you notice her foot positioning, it looks like she's like toeing out to see like what's around her. Maybe she feels this water. Maybe the water is reminding her to like tap into her intuition a bit. Maybe, I don't know. You also notice that there's this castle or this home of sorts, this neighborhood, this place where people dwell up here as well. Okay. With some mountain, kind of looks like a little bit of a mountainous energy. And there's a little bit here in the back as well. Now she is draped in red. And remember, red is very grounding with that root energy. Also very much connected to your personal power, your ambition also. Okay. All these swords are surrounding her. Nothing hurt her at all. I also want you to note that she is loosely bound by these ropes. If you remember the devil energy, the devil card, you remember how Baphomet sits on that, he crouches on that bench and there's those chains that go around his neck, the necks of the two characters. You remember how loose that was? There seems to be a theme around that too, of us perceiving that we are stuck in something. But if we just use our head to shake it off, we don't have to be here. All she got to do is twerk a little bit and these ropes will come off. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, move, move and stop being in so much paralyzing fear. These swords may have been aimed to hurt her. I'll give you that. Maybe. However, it's also a tool she can use to get up out of that. They're still there. They didn't come and scoop these knives up, these swords up. Use it. And I also feel like that's why you cover the eyes, because sometimes your sight can be so limited that we don't use our common sense. Sometimes we think ourselves to death. And that's what this energy is really giving when we're talking about this. You don't have to be this way, regardless of whether somebody bound you up like that or whether you did it yourself. You have to move. And you're close to home. Does that make sense? So when you see the 8 of Swords in a reading, a lot of times these people are so in their head that they take away the common sense of things. They take away, okay, I'm doing my foot like this, like y'all can see it. I'm trying to see where I am, what's around me. Okay, I'm not as loose. If I just move my hands a little bit, I can get up out of this. It's being bound by your own fears that aren't there. And the only times they are there is when you feed into it. You give fear power, right? See, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all understand this? So, 8 and Saturn energy feels like keeping yourself in a power dynamic you can leave. I feel that. Yep. The answer is definitely right in front of you. And sometimes we are so bound by our own fears that it looks like that. We are human. We get it. We understand. But Spirit is telling you to get your ass up. All right. That was for me. It won't for y'all. Okay. So now we are moving on from this energy of being stagnant from our own doing and not anybody else's. Okay. And now we are here. I was going to let that slide, Jade. I was going to let that slide. Now we are here. Okay. Now we are worrying ourselves to death. Now we are staying up at night, worrying all up in here. We're covering our head, our third eye. Our eyes are covered yet again. We can't sleep. We're constantly thinking and feeling like maybe I should have done something, if I could have done something different, or what if I had done it this way? This card is telling you to chill out. All right. There's an overall dark energy here as well. Not dark as in negative, but dark from the black that is in this card. Okay. This very well may represent someone who has some sleepless nights for sure. Okay. But here's the key. Here's what I want you to take a look at. Do you see these two people down at the bottom of this card? It looks like a sword fight. And honestly, from this position, it looks like the final blow that's about to take place. It looks like the person that is standing has the ultimate gain, the ultimate advantage, and one more blow is all it's going to take. Here's why that matters. Whenever you look at the 9 of Swords and you see and you are reminded of this type of energy, whatever was going to happen from the situation you are reading about was going to happen. It does not matter what you thought about it. It does not matter what you thought you could have changed about the situation. Some things are just destined to be how they are. Why does that matter? Look at the quilt. Do you see all these astrological signs on this quilt? Do you see the roses? Okay. Check out these roses. Remember we talked about the roses in the Fool and the Hierophant, even in the 3 of Pentacles? And roses representing that high vibration energy, that connection to the Rosicrucian society. Things that are hidden, secret societies, things that just are the way that they are. Even think about masonry to some extent when we're talking about roses. And then we're mixing that on this quilt with the astrology symbols. It was in the stars for things to happen the way that they did. And this person is taking it as a personal hit, that there was something that this one person could have done to make something change. It wasn't going to happen that way. Good, bad, or indifferent. And there's no need to worry yourself to death over it. Learn what you need to learn from it, because there's two different versions of people you will experience in this life. Either their lessons or their blessings. If you choose to see those energies in that way. Is this making sense? I also want you to know that these 9 swords are up here, but you don't see the tip. Someone pointed that out to me and I thought, you know what, that's very genius. You don't see the end of it, the part that spheres into someone. If you were to stab those spheres down, swords down, you don't see that part. It wasn't meant to just hurt you or harm you. It's not anything personal. It's just what was destined in the stars to happen based on some things that are happening esoterically and things you can't see. It had to happen the way that it did. Think of the election and think of everything that is going on right now. Regardless of how you feel about it, I'm not here to entertain any of that. All I am saying is if it wasn't supposed to happen, it would not have happened. It's bigger than us. That's the 9 of Swords energy. Okay? So either we shift and we pivot and we grow and we learn and we hold on to our family and our loved ones and we continue to learn and grow and we turn off the television and we stop doom scrolling every day and immediately picking up your phone and absorbing everything instead of observing it. Either we do that or we get sucked into the matrix. It's really your choice. It's really your decision. It's not to negate anything I'm going off on a tangent. It's really not to negate the severity of what is going on. That is not what I'm saying. But what are you going to do about it that is within your control? Our ancestors have been through worse. Off that soapbox. 10 of Swords. So now we are moving on from this energy of worrying over things that we can't necessarily control, things being written in the stars to be how they are, right? Into this energy. Okay? Absolutely, Muse. Thank you. I'm so glad somebody gets it. Thank you. All right. So 10 of Swords. Also one of those cards that are like, I don't know. But it also has a bright side, okay? So this man has been unalived. And I want you to note and pay attention to the ground that is around him. It looks like he had a fall. It looks like he fell from the heavens or fell from somewhere extremely high and boom, hit the ground. Look at the cracks in the ground and look at the blood that's coming from his head. All the swords that are, and these swords happen all over his body. These swords hit from the top all the way to the bottom. Every energy center was attacked here. However, there's a clearing that has taken place here. And with that, look at his hand. Wait, one. Look familiar? See what I'm talking about? There's that preacher's hand again. Remember, the Hierophant, Anytime they're doing this, this is a symbol of their connection between the esoteric realms and being a person in high position that understands that and feeds it to the people. This is a very powerful position for somebody. Even in his passing, even in him being completely unalived, where everybody made sure that he was gone, he still knows who he is. I got chills just thinking about that. That even after everybody has done, after everything is all said and done, we did not get the happy ending at the Ten of Swords like we got with the Ten of Cups or the Ten of Pentacles. We didn't quite get that. Not in the way that you think. And that's the beauty in tarot. That even when everything is against us and the odds are against us, if you know who you are, you know who you are. And it does not matter if this meat suit still continues or not. Your innate spirit, your innate nature is someone of importance, of significance, of high stature, of someone who is very much connected to spirit, like he is here. Someone who teaches the people. Someone who raises the vibrations of the planet. You know who you are. And don't ever let any swords that come against you make you forget that. Even at your lowest point. Even at your lowest of lows. Right? You have this clearing that is taking place. Almost looks like the clouds and the storm is leaving. And underneath that is this yellow. Again, solar plexus, personal power. Action, will, risk-taking type energy. And it's not going to be an easy road ahead. There's the mountains behind. And you can see the reflection of the mountains in the water that's there. Very still, calm water. It's all good. Everything is well. So when you see this Ten of Swords in a reading, yep, they probably feel like they're at their lowest point. But this is a reminder for whoever this card is for to remember who you are. Learn your lessons and keep going. Okay? That's the Ten of Swords. All right? Good on that? Oh, yeah. And even that brown is very grounding. You know, you can light a brown candle for Mother Earth if you feel so led to, or the nature elements. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And then you also have this red. Personal power, grounding again. Could also be blood. Who knows? There's that life force element to it as well. Thank you, Jade. Thank you so much. All right. Let's get into these court cards. The ones that gets people all in a frenzy. Y'all know my method with these court cards is very, very simple. Okay. All right. So when we get into these, it's the pages. All right. When we get into these court cards, I look at them as elements. Okay. Earth, fire, air, water. That's all that matters right now. All right. When we're talking about pages in any suit, this is the earth element. Okay. Keep that in mind. Knight, air. Queen, water. King, fire. Okay? And remember, the entire suit of swords is air. All right? Now that we have that in mind, let's go to the Page of Swords. I'm going to go back to the general meanings of them in a second. I want to stick with this for a minute, okay? So when we talk about these elements, read this as the elements, earth of air. When we talk about the earth element, we're talking about learning something new. Okay? This is a stage in our life where it's that almost like a child. Okay. Anytime you see the Page of Swords, think of someone who has a very childlike mentality or a childlike view or understanding of the suit itself. Okay. So this Page of Swords is someone who is trying to learn what this sword has to offer. All right. You see the birds that are up here as well. That also symbolizes high intellect, high vibrational energy with these birds. Birds are also messengers. Birds also can represent that air element. All right. Look at how she's positioned. Almost very joyous, very playful, but also a little bit curious. The pages are a very curious energy. So when you see the Page of Suits, Page of Swords, yes, this can be a messenger of some sort of air dealing, whether you're getting a message about school or receiving a letter from school or receiving a letter from something about the military or something in the judicial system. It can be a reception of that thing. Absolutely. Okay. But also we are learning about the suit of swords. We are learning about what we have with this air element has to tell us. Does that make sense? So this is a very young, probably newborn to maybe 10, 11, 12 years old. Let's just say that. Okay. All right. So Earth of Air. All right. Now we're going past the phase of learning what this sword has to tell us or teach us or how to use it properly. Now we're going balls to the wall. Now we just want to swing it everywhere. We want to shoot first, ask questions later. Now I want to give you another, I want to compare this to another energy real quick. All right. I want to compare this to the Knight of Wands because I feel like people get the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Both of them can be a bit confusing. Give me 1 second. Let me find her. If I can't find it on this first run, I'm going to just say it wasn't meant for me to talk about. There it is. Okay. Both of these energies. Remember, we are talking about movement. We're talking about the air of air, the ultimate air energy with this Knight of Swords. This is someone who is, who likes to take charge over doing things without really thinking too much into it. Okay. This is a very, like a teenager, which is very reminiscent of night energy in general. Okay. Someone who is a teenager just likes to do things. They aren't that child that's asking, well, why, mommy? Why does this happen? Well, why do we have to do things this way? Well, why asking a bunch of why? They don't give a damn. Okay. Same with this guy, except he's got a bit of a worse temper than this one. All right. So when we're talking about air of air, not only are we learning about the element of air and everything it has to tell us, mind, intellect, and so forth, but we're uncontrolled with it. It's not the king. It's not this daddy energy. It's not that. He thinks he is, but he just learned it. He just learned about it. Okay. I also want you to pay attention to the heart. You see these butterflies? They also represent change and transformation and are also linked to that air element in the swords as well. But there's that heart again. Also a reminder from spirit to make sure that they are both in sync. That you use your common sense with your intuition, your emotions, your heart space energy. They both matter. He don't give a damn. He probably got one word of something and was like, I'm gone. All right. That's the Knight. Now we know better. A little. Okay. Now this Queen of Swords, I want you to pay attention to how she's facing. She is turned away from us, which is not quite common when we talk about the court cards in general. But she is someone who is like she don't really want it. She's got her guard up, so to speak. Also, look at these low-hanging clouds. I feel like if it wasn't for the sake of us seeing this card, that would be surrounding her. Because she is not somebody who wants to show her full hand. She's guarded in that way. But again, remember, we're talking about water of air, Queen of Swords, right? Now we are nurturing that energy. Now we are using our intellect, our mind, and commanding things, right? Okay, this is what I want to see happen in this manner. Okay, that's not quite working out the way I thought it would. Okay, got it? Give me a second. This isn't quite working out the way that I thought it would. Okay, got it. So what if I change it? She's nurturing it. She's manipulating the energy. She's looking at it. She's earned this right. She understands it. She knows it. She's very smart, very much and tapped into her Page of Swords energy also. But she's also hit some bumps along the road being here as well. Now she's nurturing this thing, bringing life into it, making it work for her. Okay? Bringing that feminine energy, that marriage between that masculine air energy and that watery divine feminine energy as well, and marrying the two. Okay? That's the Queen of Swords. She is very closed off. She is, and also look at her crown. It's of butterflies. And you see that one bird that is up there too. The butterflies in the throne and all of the above. All right. Sis is like Judge Judy. All right. So we've moved on from this. We've nurtured it. Now we've mastered it. Fire of air. It takes a very skillful energy to move fire, because fire can be equally as nourishing to the land. You can do control fires over your grass to make it grow back better, as it is destructive. No other person has the ability to handle that type of energy, even her. That's why he runs things. He is a very smart person, very intellectual, could be a scholar of sorts, could be a leader in the military, could be a leader in the government of some sort. Very smart, very tapped in. And I also want you to note, he's in blue, like the water. Even how it flows on him. Even how it flows on him. It has this flowy, almost watery element, like a reminder to our intuition again. A reminder to marriage, both the heart and the mind, because they both matter. You see the half moons that are the crescent moons that are up here, just like we saw in the Two of Swords at the very beginning of our journey that mattered. Now everything is coming into play. He's mastered it. And tarot comes from a patriarchal point of view. If you want to put the queen at the top, that is your business. I don't do that over here, okay? I love her down. But she's not here yet, okay? But you read tarot how you want to, right? You ain't got to do everything I do, okay? He's the master of this air suit. He has learned it and continues to learn it. He has seen what it could do without much thought behind it at all. He has nurtured it, and now he's mastered it, and mastered it to the point where he can guide other people to do what he sees best for his kingdom, for his domain. Okay? The King of Swords in a negative light can be very manipulative. Very, very manipulative, because they are so ding dang smart that they see 10 steps ahead. They see what you might do ahead of time and has beat you there. Very manipulative in a negative light, especially in even in relationships and stuff like that, especially because he understands the importance and the significance of emotions and intellect. He's a character. However, I love him for sure. And that, y'all, is the Suit of Swords. Are there any questions? I will stick around probably. Are there any questions? I will stick around probably. Is my for like maybe 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to get off here and cleanse and gather myself. But are there any last minute questions, not just about the suit of swords, but about tarot in general? Because we have one more suit to go through. And after that, we have Pentacles, and hopefully next week we will be doing Pentacles next week at 6 p.m. also. And then after that, we are done. Yeah, for sure. Do I read reversals? I say I don't, but then they come up and then I feel like they're important. When I first started reading tarot, I didn't need to read reversals because there's 78 cards and 78 times 2, learning 78 times 2. I didn't feel the need to, and it was fine. But however, Spirit has guided me to also seeing reversals, and I've learned to pick them up. So when you see reversals, I'll give you a very simple way to understand them, okay? Reversals can be seen as the opposite of that energy or a stuck energy, okay? So like if I felt like, so like this card is the first one that comes up to me, right? We're talking about making a very difficult decision of some sort, right? But if this was in the reverse, maybe you aren't, maybe you're here too long. Maybe you've been in this energy for way too long. Okay? So think of something that would be like the opposite of what the upright would be for you. And it takes some time to learn to read reversals. I don't really focus on reversals that much. I just I'm an intuitive reader. I don't like have a specific spread. I let the cards fall where they're going to fall when I pull them. And then I read the story. I read how they're placed. I read, maybe they're facing one another. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're apart from each other. Maybe one card landed on the other. Like I allow my intuition and my spirits to guide me to what I read. So I am not the person you would want to go to for spreads. Like if you want a specific spread, I don't do that. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not how I read them. So, yeah, I hope that helps with reversal. So it's like the reversal, or there may be maybe you're stuck in that energy for too long, or maybe there's even some importance around that card that your spirits are like, you really need to pay attention to this card right here, because this card's going to tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so allow your tarot readings to be a practice for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to practice. I'll tell you firsthand, whenever I started reading tarot, I used to grab my teddy bears and I used to say, okay, this is John Smith and John Smith has this problem. All right, I got my tarot cards. He gave me this problem. I'm going to pull these cards and then I talk it through. That's the way I learned until I started doing having clients. I practiced on people who allowed me to, but I would make up shit. I'd make up scenarios and be like, okay, I pulled this card. Oh, now I see what's going. You get what I'm saying? You only get better when you practice. And I feel like when you practice, you will learn a way that works for you. Okay? I'm not someone that's going to tell you have to do it this way. I don't prescribe to that. I'm not that kind of reader. Okay? I use my cards to guide what I can feel and pick up from my intuition and from spirit. They are simply tools. That's it. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Nisi. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. You've always really, really been kind, and I really do appreciate that about you, for sure. Is it true reversals can sometimes make the card better to get reversed? Wait, hold on. Is it true reversals can sometimes make the card better to get reversed than upright? In some cases I can see that, especially when it comes to cards that are inherently like what we see negative in the upright, like the devil or the 3 of Swords, or the 10 of Swords, or the 10 of Wands. Negative and positive is perspective to me. Does that make sense? So like, even if I pull the Tower card, I want to see why I'm getting it. And then I also appreciate the warning from Spirit to let me know, hey, some shit's about to blow up around here. Thank you for letting me know so I know how to prepare. Because sometimes we don't get that warning. So I see it as a positive thing that I've been warned, that I'm knowledgeable of what is to come or what could happen if I'm following this path. Perspective is everything. Perspective and intention are, I'd say, a good 40 to 50% of the battle. But you have to do the work, and you have to practice it and make it make sense for you. Okay? When I do readings for people, I am somebody who reads for self-awareness, self-discovery. I am all about you and your energy. So what is it about your journey that you're at this point in time that Spirit needs you to know for your enlightenment, for your growth, for your journey, right? That is my focus. That's my focus in how I teach it. That's my focus when I do readings. It's all about you, if that makes sense. Yeah, like the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have this record. I think TikTok already records it, and I'm still, y'all, it's been hectic. Okay. I'm still trying to get my YouTube up and going because I do want to start recording readings and leaving them on YouTube, private. So y'all would have a link for that as well. And y'all will be able to record it because people have been asking me for that. And I'm like, yeah, I should have been doing that. So, that's coming soon. There's a lot of moving parts, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to get my YouTube going for sure. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love teaching. I love tarot. I love this. I love spirituality. It's me. It's definitely me. There's some on my Instagram page. I don't remember which suits. I think they were back when I was doing major arcana, like when TikTok was about to shut down. But I am going to say that this is the last time that I go through these teachings for free. And my spirit's kind of like knocking me around a little bit about that because this is a lot of valuable knowledge that I am giving for free. And on one perspective, I'm like, well, times are difficult, but people are trying to tap in and everybody has all these questions and I know a lot. I just want to show up. But there's an energy exchange that's happening here. And having paid services is not a bad thing. It pours back into me. That way I'm not just giving. You know what I mean? So for people who are here, if you can simply share the live with people who want to know about tarot, okay? Or to yourself, it don't matter. It's in some way, shape, or form. If you're pouring back into me, I greatly appreciate that. But my spirits are like, yo, likes and shares don't pay the bills. So this is the last time I am teaching this whole series for free. After that, I will continue to teach it the way I am, except it will be on Zoom and it will be paid. It will be reasonable, okay? But I'm not going to ask you to pay hundreds of dollars for this. But there is an energy exchange and I have to respect that. So if you understand that, I appreciate it. If not, then it's been real. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Nisi. I love it. I love it. I love it. I really do. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. I think the message from Spirit this week is to take care of yourself, to watch your mouth, because I don't know what's up with this full moon, but it's been full mooning. It's been bringing some weird energies up for sure. So if like little bickering arguments, a whole lot of like drama, like I'm just like, what the hell is going on? It's giving a lot of that. Okay. Cleanse yourself, take care of yourself, exercise boundaries, be kind to people, do something nice for yourself and do something nice for somebody else this week. All right. Drink your water, mind your business. All right. Meditate more and tell the people you love that you love them. All right. I love y'all. I'm getting off here and I will see y'all on the next run. Bye, y'all.